Now that we have installed Android Studio, now it's time to install the Flutter and Dart plugins, because by default Android Studio doesn't support Flutter development. And to install the plugins, we have to go to this plugins tab, and here we'll see the list of plugins that is available in the marketplace. All you have to do is type Flutter. So I'm typing Flutter over here, and you will see a bunch of plugins in that list, but I am choosing this one. So this Flutter plugins is actually the publisher is flutter.dev, so official plugins, and all I have to do is install these plugins by pressing this install button over here. So I'm pressing install, then accept, and it says that the Flutter plugins requires Dart to be installed. So Dart plugins also be installed in Android Studio, but I don't have to install it separately. This allows Dart plugins to be installed at the same time. So install, and it will take few times, and after that it will ask to restart the ID, and I am doing so. So restart the ID. So now you see Android Studio has been restarted, and now we can see that we have a new option in the launcher page. That means the new Flutter project. So now we can actually create a new Flutter project from here, or we can open an existing Flutter project from the location, from the saved location. Before we create a new Flutter project and run, let me do a few more things. For example, let me just check whether I have installed all the necessary stuffs. To do that, I need to run a command flutter doctor from the source path of the Flutter SDK. And to do that, I need to go to my Flutter SDK folder location. That means inside C and source and Flutter. And by pressing the shift key, I am right clicking on the Flutter folder, and I will open PowerShell window here. So now PowerShell is open at C, source and Flutter, and all I have to do is to type this thing like Flutter and doctor-v and hit enter. So you see Flutter actually generated a lot of things in the PowerShell console, and let's examine what we have here. So it says that we have installed Flutter, the stable channel on 3.13.3, and we have the Dart version 3.1.1. Also we have the we have the Windows version installed on this machine. This is 10 or higher, and we have the Android toolchain, but we also have some issues in the Android toolchain. It says that command line tools component and missing, and also it says that Android license status unknown. So first of all, let's resolve this issue. Command line component is missing. To install the command line tool components, you have to go to Android Studio and then more actions, then go to SDK manager, and then go to SDK tools, and you will find an option over here, Android SDK command line tools. It is not installed by default, but you have to check this and simply click apply, and it will download some files and hit OK. So let's wait to install the command line tools, because if we don't do that, then we cannot work with the command line tools or something like that. So command line tools has been installed. I'm pressing finish button over here, and since we have come to this page, other things that you should install from this list is the Google Play services, and we need Google Play services whenever we work with any Google services like Gmail or Google Maps, etc. So we also need to install these. So let's click that and then apply and hit OK. So Google Play services also been installed. Now I am hitting apply once again and OK. And now if I run Flutter Doctor once again, and it will generate the data once again, and let's check that whether we have this previous issue or not. So now that we have the Android toolchain, and it doesn't say that we have any issues with command line plugins, but we have some options. We have some issues about the Android license not accepted, and to resolve this, run Flutter Doctor and Android licenses. So to run this as a command line tool, we must have to install the command line tools. That's why I just installed the command line tools before we do that. So let's copy this line and then copy, and then here just paste and enter, and it is just like accepting few terms and conditions about Android licensing. All you have to do is press Y and hit enter multiple times. So Y and enter, Y and enter, just keep going like this. Okay, so now that all SDK package license is accepted, and now if I hit Flutter Doctor V once again, and now Flutter Doctor says that Doctor found issues in one category, but most importantly, now Android toolchain has no issues. We only have one issue, and that is Visual Studio develop Windows apps. It is not actually installed. And Visual Studio, we need Visual Studio if we want to develop desktop application or Windows application in or with Flutter, then we need Visual Studio, but we're not going to do that in this course. So right now I'm not going to install Visual Studio, so this issue will remain, but it will not affect our Flutter development. So now that everything is working fine, now it's time to go to Android Studio once again, and now we have to create a new Flutter project and run that. But before I do that, I want to create a new emulator for Android Studio. So we'll do that in the next lecture.